Random facts you need to know.
Rolex is renowned for the introduction of the first waterproof watch, the Rolex Oyster, in 1926. This groundbreaking timepiece featured a hermetically sealed case that protected the movement from dust and moisture, making a significant advancement in watchmaking technology. To prove it was water resistant, the founder of Rolex famously had a swimmer swim across the English Channel wearing the Oyster, and the watch remained functional after the swim. Sales skyrocketed, and today the Rolex Oyster is one of the most sought after, especially the original model, watches around the world, and people today still purchase the Oyster. If you like what you heard, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment below. On December 1st, 2023, former Justice of the Supreme Court Sandra Day OConnor passed away. Judge O'Connor was nominated to the Supreme Court by former President Ronald Reagan and served over 20 years in that capacity. She was also involved in the presidential 2000 debate between Al Gore and George Bush on who won, and the Supreme Court weighed in on that decision. Justice O'Connor later retired and then went on to teach some courses and be involved in some judicial review. She later suffered from Alzheimer's disease. If you think about Justice O'Connor and her lifetime of service, leave a comment below. If you have a suggestion for another video, we'd love to hear about it. Give us a thumbs up. Did you know that you can actually visit the grave of founding father Benjamin Franklin in the city of Philadelphia? Franklin himself was a long-term resident of the city of Philadelphia, helping find the first public library in the United States. Later on through his career, he was an ambassador in France and other places in Europe. But the grave of Benjamin Franklin is found in Old City, and Franklin was known for the saying, "A penny saved is a penny earned." Well, today when you visit Franklin's grave, you can look through the cemetery gate and see that a bunch of people have left pennies on Franklin's grave. The ironic part is, to get in to actually see Benjamin Franklin's grave, you have to pay an entrance fee. If you like what you heard, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you like more interesting facts, we'll see you next time. Let's talk about Jimmy Stewart, the actor from the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Jimmy Stewart served in the U.S. Army Air Corps during World War II, flying many missions over Europe, and then stayed in the U.S. Air Force for another 20 years, retiring in 1969. Jimmy Stewart's son, Ronald McLean, was killed in Vietnam on June 8, 1969, while serving with the Marine Corps. Stewart's father had served in the First World War as a private in the U.S. Army, and his grandfather had served in the U.S. Army Signal Corps in the Union Army during the Civil War. His maternal grandfather, that's his mother's father, served at the Battle of Gettysburg as a regimental commander during the biggest battle. So Jimmy Stewart comes from a long line. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. On the night of April 14th, 1865, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. Many consider this the end of the American Civil War. But did you know that General Ulysses S Grant and his wife were supposed to join Mr. and Mrs. Lincoln at the theater that evening? Grant, though, had to cancel his plans because him and his wife were scheduled to meet their children in the state of New Jersey and spend the evening with them. Later that evening, Grant found out about the assassination of Lincoln and said it was one of the darkest days of his life. He blamed himself and said had he had been there, the assassin himself would not have killed President Lincoln. Grant, always thinking like a soldier, thought he might be able to defend his president and commander-in-chief. Grant wound up becoming president 4 years later. If you want more presidential and interesting facts, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Did you know Honduras has their own NFL player? His name was Steve Van Buren. His father was an American fruit inspector in Honduras, and after his parents died at the age of 10, he went to live with his grandparents in Louisiana, where he went to college, eventually getting drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles in 1944. Van Buren played a number of years with the Eagles and became an all-time leading rusher, going to 3 consecutive championships in 1947, 1948, and 1949. His number 15 was eventually retired by the Eagles, and he was put into the Hall of Fame in 1965. Van Buren is most noted for the 1948 championship in which it snowed so hard in Philadelphia that he thought the game was canceled. When his coach called him, he went over by bus, helped shovel the field, played the game, won, went home, and went back to work. And now you know. Recently, Elon Musk, during an interview, said this to Bob Iger and Disney, as well as all those companies that are pulling out of X, formerly known as Twitter.
Blackmail me with advertising? Blackmail me with money? Go yourself.
As you know, marketing money is the lifeblood of any social media agency, but Musk does not want to bow to the knee of the woke. So this battle is going on back and forth about what Musk said in a tweet, the tweet being this. Could it be anti-Semitic? That is what Disney, Iger, and a number of other companies are saying about Musk. Or could it just be a free speech issue? Where do you stand? Leave a comment below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. We've all seen the beloved classic, A Miracle on 34th Street, released in 1947. But did you know that the 2 department stores that are named in the film, Gimbel's and Macy's, never actually gave the film permission to name their stores in the movie? But once the movie was released, they jumped on the bandwagon. Gimbel's and Macy's were 2 of the biggest competitive department stores in New York at the time. Also, New York itself was kind of new to the film scene. Not like today, where there's lots of films filmed in New York. At that time, there was not a lot of motion pictures made in New York. So it was a new genre and a new location. Also, Edmund Gwynn, who played Santa Claus, was the official Santa Claus in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. If you like what you heard, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and see you next time. The City Council of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania has just passed an ordinance banning masks. Well, certain types of masks. Not really medical masks, but more of a facial mask like a hoodie. These were banned because of criminal intent, and it's starting to intimidate people. So all but 2 of the members of the City Council banned these masks because people were walking into banks or to stores or childcare facilities, and nobody could tell who they were. A big difference from back during COVID, when Philadelphia was one of the premier cities that pushed the mask for the sickness, and now they're doing away with it. Interesting, now it goes to the mayor of Philadelphia, who will sign it into law, and people that violate these practices in certain areas and certain public places or certain types of businesses will be fined up to $2,000 if they commit a crime. What do you think about Philadelphia's mask law?